Hi everyone. As you know, I am Taryn and I am representing myself both personally as well as in my business capacity as CEO and founder of Wildflower Healing. So I'm live today. Disclaimer, my first live, so I might not get this right, but who knows, I may just hit it out the ballpark. So today I'm live, just an informal chit chat about my journey over the last 12 months. Today, in fact, so yesterday, 12 months ago, I made the decision to take up a retrenchment package and to application to leave corporate. And so it's been a long chain of events. I think like anyone, all of us, we have this inner knowing that we want to leave corporate or we want to do something different. We want to do something more in alignment with what we came here to do, with our heart space. And so I've had this knowing for the longest time, but I never felt safe enough to actually go out and pursue it. But something in my spirit from the start of 20 started talking more and more to me. So just some practical tips that I used before I even knew that I was going to, because the retrenchment package came literally out the blue for me. It wasn't something that it was in the pipeline and something that I could process and actually calculate the exit. But what I did is, beginning of 2020, before the cocoa hit the fan, I actually wrote down what my ideal day would look like. So bringing myself into my future self and saying, I've left corporate, I'm in my own business, and what does that look like? How does that feel for me? So waking up from sunrise to sunset, or when I went to bed, how many hours do I want to do each, aspect of my life? And what I did is I created a timeline for myself. And I said, right, I'm here now, and this is where I want to be. So this ideal life that I want, that looks like this space in between here, this how, then became my daily prayer. And I had it written down, so I knew exactly what my ideal day was, and I just surrendered the how each and every day to that being taken care of for me. Because I was in corporate, I was navigating a lot of emotions while I was in that current position. So what I did, another practical aspect of my day, is that I actually set up a little sanctuary for myself in my office. I would put some flowers in there, I would light a candle every day, and I would journal every day just what was on my heart, what I was calling in, what I was letting go, whilst I was navigating this very unconscious world that was happening around me, while I was becoming very focused and very conscious with where I wanted to go. And I then would take walks around around the office block, and I would just constantly recite what I wanted in my life. I would make little mantras for myself, and I would sort of pray the prayer that was constantly praying me. I did that every day. just called in that new beginning constantly. I didn't know when or how it would, unfold and what it would look like, but it was a constant action that I did. And then the possibility of leaving presented itself, and it was just something that we had a 2-week window to say yes or no if we were going to actually go into this, if I was going to accept the voluntary package. And I didn't realize it at the time until the final hour, and I kept saying to myself, I wish I could take a leap of faith. I wish I could take a leap of faith. And when I actually listened to what I was saying to myself, I then knew what I had to do. And that's what I did. I literally took a leap of faith. I had debt coming out of my ears. I wasn't certified yet. And it was okay, because that is what sort of doing that free fall and allowing the parachute to actually open while we are free falling. And driving to the office that Friday when I handed in all my stuff, there was a duality that was happening in me, and I allowed all of it. So I had my heart breaking, because I was there for 9 years. They'd seen me fall pregnant with my second child. I'd really got into really solid relationships. Like, these people I saw more than my family. So one part of me, my heart was breaking, but there was simultaneously there was an aspect of my spirit that was at such peace. So I allowed all my feelings in that moment. I allowed to feel my heart breaking, and I allowed myself to feel the peace that was actually supporting me through the process. And so that was that. It was lockdown at home, so I got into online teaching with my kids for 2 months. And then once they were back at school, I really had to then get into what am I going to do and how am I going to navigate myself. I was in corporate, and now I'm really, the middle of July, I really stepped into CEO mindset, and that just keeps expanding. Like, I'm finding new ways every day on how to actually manage and own more of my CEO title. And so for me, I got onto my logo, my business name. I aligned myself with a designer, a very conscious lady that I could talk to about my logo, everything, because my logo is so intentional. Everything in my business is so intentional. There are prayers being prayed every day around my business, around who I serve, the messages. Everything is intentional. So my logo is intentional. My name is intentional. And I aligned myself with a conscious co-designer with me. Through her magic, my logo was created. My business name came in. As soon as I had my business name, I registered my business. I took myself seriously, and I took my business seriously. It was not going to be a sideline hustle. It was going to be what I did, and I wanted to show up, and I wanted to show up as professionally as I could from get-go. So I registered my business. I was even pushed to, within myself, this is me pushing me, stretching me, I have registered a Pty Limited, which in South Africa is like an LLC, from get-go. And straight after that, I got my business banking account. I set up all those foundational steps. And then came one of the biggest challenges to date with actually stepping into my business. And that was being seen. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So when I actually went active on my Facebook business page, because it had been created for a few weeks prior, and I didn't have the nerve to invite people into my page. And I'll tell you a quick story. I actually watched Mulan, the new Mulan movie, the 2021, the Sunday evening. And that movie inspired me that I had to be able to show myself to the world in order for me to actually own all my energy. But I still wasn't ready to do it in its full extent. But I went active on my Facebook page, my business Facebook page. As soon as I only invited about 22 very close family and friends that I knew accepted this version of me that's sitting here. And I still cried. I sat in my car and I cried big tears. Because it was one of the most courageous steps that I did at that time. And I did it, and I kept pushing forward. I showed up with content on my page every day for 3 months, and this was just a commitment and a consistency that I had to build musculature in. So investing in myself and my business, that's easy. I can do that. But it was that commitment and a consistency to showing up. And then the other thing that I really would encourage anyone to do is find mentorship, find coaches, and find mentorship and coaches and people that have already achieved what you are working at achieving. So finding, like, I'm in a 5-figure mastermind, and that is through someone who's already at 8 figures. So stretching myself, knowing that that investment is a bit of a stretch, but it's only through that stretch, that uncomfortableness, that we grow into all that we can be. And so invest, commit, be consistent, because it's going to be a stretch. And for me, staying in corporate would have, that comfort zone in corporate actually become comfortable in the discomfort. But even that comfort started really revealing its discomfort to me. And that's when I took the leap of faith. And so I would say, if you find yourself in a similar position, how do you break through that? Or if you've just broken through that, there's just a few questions I would encourage you to just sit with and just journal about, be curious with yourself about. And that is, where are you willing to call in and ask for more support? If anything, on this journey of the last 12 months is actually realizing that I'm not an island. I was not designed to do this on my own. Getting out of that lone wolf mindset and knowing that build my support team, and that means having, again, stretching that CEO mindset, having team leaders, even if it's small, having someone that you can rely upon in a VA capacity, or help you with social media. Just get team members on board. Ask for support, whether it is from family or friends. Just this morning, I was struggling through a certain aspect of my business this morning, and I had to pick up the phone and ask for support. And I don't think that we grew up knowing or having the skill set to ask. But when you're in your business and you're in the CEO mindset, you learn to ask, and you learn to ask the right people. And my next encouraging question would be, are you choosing your growth, and are you choosing your business every day? So every day I choose my business. Every day it's a conscious choice that I show up and this is where I am, and I choose to be the CEO of my business. I choose to be in that capacity in my business. So who are you choosing and what are you choosing? And being okay with it, because every choice is, you know, what it is. But just knowing what that choice is and then choosing it every day. And where can you so, you know, it's getting to that place where that stretch, that expansion becomes so integrated that you're constantly in that expansive stretch, and it just it gets you to the next point. And then my other encouragement, I would say, is, and it was a big one for me, and I've only recently done it, like a couple of weeks ago, is for me, I had separated my business to who Taryn was. But actually they are the same. But I was so scared, I was in so much terror of being seen for who I truly am for this in my business capacity, that I kept very hidden. I kept the two separate, but I couldn't show up to either fully because both were just aspects of me. So I sit here today in front of you as that becoming a whole version of me. So my business is me and I am my business. And it's been, again, one of the most terrifying things I've had to do. It really asked a lot of courage from me, but when it was right, and I just allowed the process to unfold, knowing that those that would fall away, that wouldn't understand this whole version of me, I released them with love, and those that stay, like, thank you, and then it just creates so much more space for those that can enter. And the other thing I wanted to just share with you quickly before I end off is trust. Trust that everything you've done up till this moment is enough. And that with that stretching, you are going to ask more of yourself and you're going to continue growing. But trust where you are now, and trust all